it's been a while. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, which is a very new kind of video I am beginning to make on my channel. Those who know me know that the cinema is my favourite place on earth. It's my happy place. I absolutely love the cinema. It is the most amazing event in my planner if I ever go to the cinema, which is very frequently. So you can imagine how I feel knowing I haven't been to the cinema for over a year. Over a year. But hopefully this rain will end. On the 17th of May, I have found out that all cinemas are opening back up. The local cinema that I go to is View, so I don't know if you guys also go to View, but if you do, it is opening back up on the 17th of May, and with that comes so many new movies that are set to be released, that are already released, just waiting for us to come and watch them. But I want to, every month, talk about all the latest movies that are coming out within that month. So this month we're at May, it's May the 8th today. You know, it's kind of the beginning of May, and there's so many great movies already waiting for us to watch in the cinema come the 17th, and I really would love to chat to you guys about it. Guys, I've done my homework and I've literally gone through a lot of the movies that are being released in May, and I've just picked 4 of my favourite ones that I'm really looking forward to most to going to see, and I will tell you a bit about them, only be letting you in on what I've seen from the trailers, and then possibly, if I can, try and give you some backstory on that particular movie. For example, how it came about, who wrote it, the inspiration the actors drew for their performance, that kind of stuff, because I absolutely love to know all the little details and all the nooks and all the crannies of a making of a film. So I am going to, and please hold me to this because I want to do this every month. Like I said, every month I am going to let you guys know what is on at the cinema and tell you a bit about it. And if you go and watch the movies, please let me know, comment below and let me know what you thought of them, and we can talk about them. But let's get into it. So the first movie I actually want to talk about has already been released. It was released yesterday on the 7th of May. It's called Here Today, and it's a Billy Crystal film and a Tiffany Haddish film. I know, the combo we never knew we needed. This looks like an incredible film. I love these types of feel-good films. Comedies are my favourite genre, and this film seems so funny and so heartwarming. I just can't wait to watch it. So, if you haven't already watched the trailer, oh, by the way, what I'll also do as well is I'll link all the trailers to the films I talk about below, and I'll also link all the sources that I use to get all my information from, that you can go back and watch it, because I'll guarantee leave things out, knowing my brain. Here Today is basically about this comedy legend, this comedy veteran who is very well known and popular for writing plays and scripts and his own stand-up comedy. So very well known within New York, within the world, it seems, within the trailer, and he actually allows himself to be bid on for this charity auction, and the winner of the highest bidder gets to go to lunch with him, and that winner turns out to be Tiffany Haddish, who plays a New York street singer. But when they go to lunch, Billy Crystal's character finds out that it wasn't actually Tiffany Haddish who bid on him, it was her ex-boyfriend, who is an actor who really admires him, but they've broken up, so she decided to come and claim the free lunch. And they kind of talk, they get to know each other, and they build this really unlikely, funny friendship. And it seems like they go on this journey together, and amidst all of this, Billy Crystal is trying to write his last big thing, and the reason for that is because he's running out of time, because he is dealing with early stages of dementia. and I don't think anybody knows this at this moment, but I think Tiffany Haddish finds this information out. You can see from the trailer that she goes to his house, and he's got pictures of his children on the wall, but he's put post-it notes of their names on there as well, just so he doesn't forget who they are. And she kind of puts two and two together and figures it out. And I think from the trailer, it seems as though she ends up caring for him, and it's not that she feels sorry for him. I think it's just very much a case of he needs somebody to look after him and she needs somebody to look after. I think they need each other just as much as one another, and I think that's why it works. So it seems from the trailer so heartwarming, so funny, yeah, and I can't wait to watch it. So that's basically the concept of the film. Along the way, it's probably going to be hilarious because it's Billy Crystal and Tiffany Haddish, two of probably the funniest people on the planet, and it seems really heartwarming. And you know what, guys, it's giving me Intern vibes. Have you guys watched The Intern with Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway? Again, a very unlikely pairing, but it works so well. And if you haven't watched The Intern, definitely go and do that first, because what a film. But this definitely reminds me of The Intern. The older man, younger woman, the friendship between the two, the bond between the two. It just looks incredible. So the way this film came about is Billy Crystal actually co-wrote this script with his writing partner during lockdown, one of the lockdowns. I don't know how many lockdowns America has had. England has had 3 currently. But one of the lockdowns over in the States, he wrote this with his writing partner. And not only does Billy Crystal write this screenplay, he also stars in it, and he also is the director of it. So really hands-on with this film. It's really like his baby. And the way Tiffany Haddish came about, I believe Billy Crystal actually watched Tiffany Haddish on the SNL show when she hosted it live, and absolutely fell in love with her and saw her and instantly thought, oh my god, that's her, that's the girl we need. So he reached out to her, sent her the script. She was in Africa at the time, so she flew back to have a meeting with him, and she was on cloud 9. Like, she was still on that plane even when she landed in New York, because she was so excited to work with him. And she went to go and meet him, and he tried to picture the story, and she was like, psh, just stop right there, Billy. You don't need to sell me. I'm already sold. You had me at hello. When and where are we doing this? She could not wait to film this with him, which is absolutely amazing. Now, Billy actually says in one of the interviews for the promo of this movie that as an actor he felt pleasantly surprised and challenged by Tiffany as a on-screen partner, and as a director to get what he wanted out of it and even more was a complete blessing, which is absolutely lovely to hear. The way the character inspiration came about of Billy Crystal's character being a comedic writer, also suffering with onset dementia, it was kind of a mixture of things. Obviously he himself is that in real life, but also he tells a story, and I'll leave a link below to that interview. He says when he was hosting SNL years ago, back in 84, 85, there was a writer who worked on SNL called Herb. He says Herb, but I'm pretty sure that's Herb in my accent. I'm not sure. But yeah, he said there was a guy called Herb that he used to work with, who was the only staff member at SNL in his 50s. Very wise, very smart, very funny, and Billy worked with him a lot. Just the wisdom this man spoke was amazing, and when thinking about the type of character he wanted to be, he thought, what a wonderful prototype, then good old Herb. Billy Crystal was also dealing with a relative who was suffering from onset dementia, and she was actually a novelist, or she is a novelist, he was acting as her medical proxy, and one day she actually said to him that she felt like she was losing her words, which is so sad, and especially for a novelist, somebody who has spent their lifetime, you know, using words, to then be forgetting her own is really heartbreaking. He thought to himself, how profound is that? And so he decided to kind of incorporate that within his own character, and decided to not just make this about a comedy, about having laughs, about, you know, having a good time, but also to deal with a really important subject matter and make the story more a statement about empathy and friendship more than anything else, which I think is so humanizing, and which makes me love it even more, which makes me so excited to watch it, because that's just so, it's so human and it's so true. You know, you can make plans, but your plans never involve getting ill, you know, that never ever comes into the picture, but it doesn't stop it from happening, you know. So that's life, and I'm so glad that he put that in there. And he also gets asked, how would you describe this movie? And he says it is a romantic comedy without the romance, just because it's not about, you know, a romance intimately between two people falling in love doesn't mean love isn't a very heavy subject matter, and holds the heart of this movie. So Here Today, it's already out, it's waiting for us to watch, okay? We have to watch it. Let's all go to the cinema and watch Here Today. It's gonna make you laugh, it'll probably make you cry, probably make me cry. I cry every day these days. I don't know why. You know, I'd say it's hormones, but I think it's just becoming me. Do you find that as you're getting older? As I'm getting older, I'm just getting more emotional about things. I just start crying for no bloody reason. Anyway, so the next movie I want to talk about that I'm so excited to watch in the cinema is also, it also came out on the 7th of May, on the same day as Here Today. But it's a bit of a different vibe, guys. It is more of a heist / revenge kind of film, and it is none other than a Guy Ritchie film, and it is a Jason Statham film. And if you don't already know what I'm talking about Wrath of Man. So, Wrath of Man is a heist / revenge kind of film. It is out on the 7th of May, which is already gone, so it's already waiting for us in cinema. It's basically about Jason Statham. He has a son who ends up getting murdered. This is what we can see from the trailer, and he is about to take out his revenge, and there are no limits to his wrath. He goes undercover. When you're first introduced to him, he's quite mysterious. We don't know much about him, but then as the story unfolds, it seems like we know where this is headed, and what his ambition is. We know that he is trying to get revenge for the murder of his boy, and he wants to find out the person responsible for that. So in order to find out who is responsible for his son's murder, he decides to go undercover, and you can tell that he has some kind of background within a police force or something of that type of manner, and he ends up getting a job working for a security team who deals with cashing truckloads of money from state to state or city to city. It's in America, but I think Jason Statham has kept his British accent, so he is playing a British man. This is a Guy Ritchie film, guys, so of course he's gonna be British. He has to rep Britain, okay? And Guy Ritchie has actually also said that this movie in particular is way more grittier, way more violent than any of his films he has currently made. And the cast in this film is amazing. We're talking Josh Hartnett, we're talking Post Malone, Scott Eastwood, just to name a few. So big cast, guys, big boys playing in this playground. It looks like a really fun one, looks like it was really fun to film. And yeah, so this film was kind of in the works for a while. So Jason Statham has reunited with director Guy Ritchie, who of course gave Jason Statham his start in the movies. We're talking Lock, Stock, and we are talking Snatch. If you haven't watched those films, go away, just go away and watch them before you can appreciate the duo of this film. They work really well together, and Jason Statham also even touches on that, and he says that he hasn't worked with Guy Ritchie for about a good 15 years, but throughout those years he has always knocked on Guy Ritchie's door looking for the next project that they can do, and this one seemed to really fit the bill in terms of what they both wanted to do next with each other. So it's really exciting to watch them work together again, and that's also where Jason Statham's trust comes from when working with Ritchie, because they've worked together a couple of times, and he says Guy Ritchie is just all for, you know, you do your job, you say the lines, and let me worry about the rest, okay? So Jason Statham's reaction to the script when he first read it, he said that it was a very intelligent script where the story is being told from 3 different angles, 3 different perspectives, that's kind of circulates around the one event, which is very, very smart and very, very hard to do. He said that he absolutely loved the script, and he said that it's actually very, very different for a Guy Ritchie script, because Guy Ritchie is really well known for doing a lot of black comedies. Like the last film I watched of Guy Ritchie's was The Gentleman, with Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant, which is also a great film. If you haven't watched The Gentleman, go and watch that. That is a typical classic Guy Ritchie film, really funny, but again, violent, a lot to do with crime, a lot to do with gangsters, which is what kind of Guy Ritchie's known for, apart from the whole Aladdin thing, because I know he directed Aladdin, but he said that he wanted to take on Aladdin because that was definitely a territory he had never gone into before, which is something he wanted to explore, which I am all for, man, okay? Don't try and put Guy Ritchie in a little pothole, okay? He has range, okay? And yeah, so really different for a Guy Ritchie film, but as Jason Statham says, reading this script, it was a really intelligent script, and it was really interesting to see how this man kind of spirals down this really dark rabbit hole trying to find out the person responsible for his son's murder. So Wrath of Man, it came out on the 7th of May. It's waiting for us, guys. It is waiting for us in the cinema, so I suggest you pre-book some tickets and go and watch Wrath of Man as well. So guys, the third film I want to recommend to you all isn't actually a film that's coming out in cinema, it's coming out on Netflix. But hear me out, I know this is all about the cinema and bringing the cinema back. However, guys, don't lie to me. You can't sit there and tell me Netflix hasn't been holding us down throughout our lockdown experience. We have been clinging on to Netflix, and it has been providing us with the goods, so I have to. And this film looks really good, and I think it should have come out in cinema, but it was meant to be released quite a while ago, but due to quarantine and lockdown, it had to get delayed, and now it's being put on to Netflix, which has probably an even bigger audience than going to the cinema, in all honesty. But yeah, so this film is very different again to Wrath of Man and Here Today. This film is a psychological thriller, which I love to dabble in a bit of psychological thrillers. It's called The Woman in the Window. This is an Amy Adams film. She is the protagonist in this film. You probably would have heard about this film because, like I said, I think it was meant to be released quite a while ago, but it's coming to Netflix on the 14th of May, so not long to go now. This seems like a really interesting film. It was a book before it was a film, so it's just been adapted into a screenplay. The book is by an author, I believe, called A.J. Finn, and it was directed by Joe Wright. The film is, and he also directed The Darkest Hour, the Churchill film, and he also directed Atonement with Keira Knightley and James McAvoy. If you guys have watched that, they're quite old films though. Yeah, so this is the same director, and this film is about a woman called Anna who is agoraphobic. I think that's how you say it, which basically means she has a fear of leaving her house. So she hasn't been out of her house for a very, very, very long time. She lives alone. She is on medication. She has a therapist, and there is also an irony that she herself is also a psychologist, and basically she has nothing to do all day. She's a peeping Tom. She's a peeper. She's a really big peeper, and she happens to notice this new family moving in across the street from her. She lives in a brownstone New York apartment, and she befriends her neighbour who lives opposite the street from her, and she is played by Julianne Moore. So she invites this new woman, she's called Jane Russell, over from across the street. Or I don't know if she invites her, but they kind of befriend each other, they become friends, they start to hang out a bit, and one night Anna sees something through the window. She sees something happening to Jane. She calls the police. Everybody comes over to her apartment to kind of see what's happened. This is Anna's apartment, not Jane's. And this film's also got Gary Oldman in it, who plays Julianne Moore's husband, and he claims that he doesn't know Anna, he doesn't know that his wife has ever met Anna, and that what she's seeing is wrong. So Anna decides that what she saw was actually true, and she suspects foul play, and she tries to get to the bottom of what happened to her friend Jane Russell. But guys, we're dealing with an unreliable protagonist. You know, she's on medication, side effects of her medication lead her to hallucinate, so we don't really know what she's seeing is actually, is it true? Is it not? She's also a little bit mad herself, as you would be, you would go mad. I think we can all relate a little bit to what Anna goes through, considering we've all been locked down for a very long time. Obviously not our choice like Anna, but again, being agoraphobic isn't a choice, it's just something you have, it's this fear. But yeah, it really reminds me of Girl on the Train with Emily Blunt. Have you guys watched that? Again, a very unreliable narrator. She drinks in that film, so we don't really know what she saw was real or not. But yeah, so if you haven't seen Girl on the Train, that's a really good similar film to watch if you do like The Woman in the Window. But this seems really, really good. To be honest with you, when I was trying to do some research on this film to try and give you some backstory, I couldn't really find a lot, and there was also not a lot of promo that went with it. But it seems really dark, really like, it really like messes with your brain, it F's up your brain. I just love those types of movies. I love figuring things out. I love guessing, I love suspecting, and also it's a bit of a jumpy film, it looks like. So it looks like a really good film. That is out on the 14th of May on Netflix, so be sure to give that a watch as well and let me know what you think. So guys, the fourth and final film I want to talk to you guys about, which is coming out in cinema on the 28th of May, is again very different to Woman in the Window, Wrath of Man, and Here Today. It is a Disney film. It is a Disney live action film, and it is none other than Cruella. And this is played by Emma Stone, who is playing Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. So guys, of course, Cruella de Vil was actually introduced to us first in the 101 Dalmatians film, which I believe came out back in like 1961 or something like that, but we're kind of meeting her for the first time in this film. It's very much an insight to her backstory, and it provides us with a hell of a lot of information, even if you just watch the trailer for it. So it kind of seems as though Cruella starts off as a very innocent young lady, gone to work for a woman in the fashion industry. It seems like the woman she works for is Emma Thompson, who seems to be a very cutthroat, very business orientated, very mean, hostile, and kind of impossible to please woman. That's who she's dealing with, and you can tell, as well as despising her, Cruella is very much inspired by her as well. And Emma Thompson's character, from the trailer, she really resembles the Glenn Close Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians, in that live action film. Have you guys seen 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close in it? She really resembles that kind of character. I feel like they are the same person. But yeah, so Emma Stone then obviously goes over to the dark side. And guys, we love this, okay? We love this for our villains, okay? Because if you put Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians as the antagonist, we hate her, okay? And we want her demolished thoroughly, okay? But flip it around, tell us who she is, where she's from, how far she's come, what she's been through to come this far, then we want her to thrive. We want her to thrive in all her evilness, okay? We love that. We love that about the villains in Disney. I love how they're doing it as well. I love how Disney's flipping the script. They did it in Maleficent with Angelina Jolie a couple of years ago. They took Maleficent, who was the villain in Sleeping Beauty, and they kind of gave her a platform, showed us who she was before she was Maleficent, the evil woman, and you really feel for her, man. I don't know if you've watched Maleficent, but if you haven't, do I even have to say it? Go and watch Maleficent. It is so good. They've also brought out a #2 not too long ago as well. So guys, you're really in for a treat. All these movies, honestly. And if you haven't watched them as well, I'm quite envious of you, because I'd love to go back and watch them like it was the first time. And guess what? I do. So yes, that is the 4th film I want to recommend. Emma Stone is one of my favourite actors. I love her so much. I know that she's going to really kick ass in this film. Cruella, it's out on the 28th of May. So guys, there we have it. 4 very different films, all coming out in May. Please let me know if you go and watch even just one of these films. I'm going to try and plan to watch all of them. I don't know if this plan will be successful, but I am going to really attempt to make it so. And if you want to see what I've watched when I go to watch it, then please give me a follow on my Instagram at Kamari Singh, and I will take you guys along with me. Also, I am planning to do this every month, just to give you a little breakdown, a little something something of what's going down in the movie theatres across, I was about to say world, but then I thought, you know, rein it in, Kamari. The world's not watching. In the UK, if you're watching in the UK, then yeah, I can tell you when the films are coming out, and I can tell you a little bit about what they are and where they've come from as well, because I know there's a lot of viewers out there who sometimes get put off by the trailers. Sometimes the trailers give too much away, and you feel like you've basically just seen the film through watching the trailer. So if you're trying to dodge the trailer but still want to find out a bit about what it's about, just to kind of give you that little push. Just imagine me being the person behind you, pushing you into the cinema to go and watch it and telling you what it's about. So go and watch them. Go and enjoy the cinema, the movies. Saturday night at the movies. Like I said, today is definitely one of those days where I would definitely just love to drive to the cinema and just get some popcorn. Oh, sweet, sweet popcorn. Not salted, sweet. just sit back and take it all in. I can't wait. I'm so excited for cinemas to open back up. If you share my passion, please let me know. Please let me know what movies you are going to watch, even if they're not the ones I've just talked about, because there are lots of things coming out. I know A Quiet Place 2 is coming out as well. I know a spin-off to the Saw movies is coming out with Chris Rock in it. I know an Angelina Jolie film's coming out in May called Those Who Wish Me Dead. And guys, look, I could have also easily talked about all of those movies as well. They look absolutely amazing, but I know this video is probably ran over longer than it should be or needed to be, because I am a bit of a rambler. I'm not gonna lie, I am, but I feel like you just need to know. You need to know all the information, like I do. Okay, it helps me process things. But yes, please let me know what you've watched, if you've watched anything, if you're planning to watch anything, and meet me here same time next month, and I will be going through some of my favourite movies to watch in June. Oh my god, are we already in June next month? Right, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Read a book. I'm so old. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, please subscribe as well. Subscribe and share. Okay, I'm ready going now. I am going. Okay, bye.